Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Friday, June 6th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple quick clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right there will be moving around and changing. That is because the market is still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So ticker symbol number one, TSLA, Tesla. And yeah, a bit of drama today for Tesla. And if you watched yesterday's video, then you hopefully remember me talking about this bearish pennant. I called out the bearish pattern. With that being said, did I know that this bearish pennant was going to lead to this sort of breakdown? That's not my claim. All I'm claiming is that if you watched yesterday's video, I talked about the bear pennant pattern that had formed. And yes, the bear pennant got continuation. So that's not totally surprising. But yes, the amount of continuation it got today was just crazy. But again, it had in all that drama that was occurring throughout the market. So I'm going to go ahead and just delete all these lines out because all those lines are irrelevant now given how far down the price has gone. But right now, just to illustrate how crazy things are, is let's just get this resistance line in play. And you may be saying, wow, that's a very steep trend line. It is. That's a very steep trend line. And the price has remained below it the entire time. You've had a couple rejections both there, and even closer right here. But that would be the first area where, in other words, I would not even allow my mind to shift bullish at all unless the price can at least get above here. Now, even if it gets above there, still there's a lot more work to be done. But my point right now is that there should be no bullish thoughts. No bullish thoughts until the price can bare minimum prove itself. Which brings up the question, okay, Clay, how are you defining bare minimum proving itself? Going back to the trend line here. Let's see if the price can at least break above there. Again, just because it doesn't mean that the bulls are truly back. But as right now, I get it. Yes, the price was down here. And yes, the price has bounced, but I don't believe it. I don't believe this bounce at all. Given the track record of things, this seems more likely to go back down. I'm open to be proven wrong, obviously, but yes, that trend line there is going to be the level that it's kind of like at bare minimum, get above that before you get bullish at all. But yes, Tesla is absolutely getting kicked in the teeth right now, so we'll see if this carries into Friday. Next one, we were looking at RYVL, and a good pattern here has formed, so let's get this pattern drawn into play. So we have the resistance portion of the pattern right here. And I'm not going to use the lower trend line for the bottom part. What I'm going to just go ahead and do is use that pink line right there, the 200 period moving average. So instead of drawing in a trend line, let's just use that as an area. So let's keep it one color. So again, this is our pink line, which is actually the 200 period moving average, but we'll just use that as our support. There is our resistance. There is the big move up right here. And then for you golfers out there, make it a little bit more visual. Put the golf on there. There is a bull pennant pattern. Now, just because something's bullish pattern does not mean for sure guaranteed it's going to go up. But it's certainly plausible that if the price were to come up here and break up through there, that break right there could create additional buying pressure. Is that guaranteed to happen? It's not. Is it at least worth throwing out there as a possibility? Absolutely. So if you like penny stocks, if you like bull pennant patterns, keep an eye on it. Next one here, APLD. And talked about this rising wedge pattern and how things were looking a little bit sketchy, given the price closed below here. But to be fair, the price ultimately really didn't care that much about the rising wedge pattern that I talked about. So a good example of just because something's bearish pattern does not mean it's going to go down, which also applies to, like I said, the bullish patterns. But yes, rising wedge is actually a bearish pattern. So I thought, yeah, maybe there will be a bit of a pullback, but no, it actually just started off going up. So yeah, that pattern right there really didn't have much use. Now, ultimately, the price did pull back. However, I would say that had nothing to do with that rising wedge pattern that had formed there. So now we actually have ourselves another bull pennant pattern at this point. So let's just get this drawn into play. Going to go through a little quicker because you just heard me talk about the pattern. So I want to respect your time as much as possible. Now you could draw the slower trend line differently if you wanted to. That's just trying to convey more so the overall idea. So again, let's keep the same color to make it easier to see. So there is our resistance. Here is our support. There's a nice upwards move there. Golf hole down here. So we have ourselves another bull pennant pattern. This is definitely a multi-day bull pennant, whereas the previous one was just a single day. So if you're someone that cares more so about, this price range, you're not really interested in penny stocks, but you like multi-day patterns, you like bull pennants, keep an eye on APLD. Next one here is ZENA, and overall, kind of tricky to talk about. Overall, the chart's fine, But I say tricky because it depends on perspective. Day trader, flipper, scalper, whatever you're going to call yourself. If you bought right there and your plan was to buy and sell within 10 minutes, and yeah, from that angle, the chart is a train wreck. But if you do care about the bigger picture, even with the pullback, the price is hanging in there. And I would say that we have an overall pattern here. So let's get this drawn into play first. Their area of resistance there. Our area of support right there. So again, this is assuming you care about the bigger picture. I understand that if you're a day trader and you bought right there, or you bought the dip right there, and your plan was to buy and sell within, if you're a scalper looking to get out within, a couple minutes at most, then yes, none of this pertains. So just to reiterate, I am trying to encapsulate multiple angles all at once. But for the big picture players, we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the upwards move here. So yeah, you guessed it, we have ourselves another bull pennant pattern. So a good variety. We've got a penny stock bull pennant. We've got one up over $10 bull pennant. Now we have one right here around the $5 mark. So a good variety for you bull pennant lovers. Next one here, NVDA, and started off, well, kind of a crazy start. Gapped up, came down, and then all of a sudden acted like it wanted to be strong, and then all the drama started, and down it went this afternoon. So again, that's only looking at today in a very small encapsulation. So if you're a day trader, scalper, and you bought right there and you're wanting to buy and sell, then yes, the chart looks terrible for you. But if you care about the bigger picture and I squeeze things down, you can see that overall, even with the pullback, the price is still very nicely up above the pink line there, the 200 period moving average. Sure, it's dropped slightly down below the purple line there, the 50 period moving average, which isn't the greatest thing, but that also doesn't mean the chart's destroyed. Case in point right here, it dropped down below it, and then all of a sudden, because it stayed above that pink line the entire time, the price ultimately went to highs right there. So again, that's not saying that it's going to for sure stay above the pink line right now. I'm just trying to illustrate that, you got to remember that a chart is more than just a single day. So yeah, today, single day, not so good, but multiple days that we're looking at here, the chart's hanging in there. So yeah, we'll see if the price can ultimately, whoops, did not mean to put that there, but we'll see if the chart can ultimately build a higher base and just continue on with the overall uptrend. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down below in the description area you can click on. Or if you're watching right at my site, there's an area on the webpage you can click. Now, one special note, it is a genuine live event. So maybe you have a couple situations. Maybe you already have something scheduled this evening, or maybe you're watching this Friday morning and you totally missed it. That's okay. Go ahead, send me an email, clay@claytrader.com, and I'd be happy to send you a link to the replay so that you can watch it at your earliest convenience. But if you can make it live, then definitely get signed up, and I'll see you here in just a few hours. Next one here, taking a look at BW, and yeah, what we talk about here should sound pretty familiar because we have a very, well, I don't know if it's obvious. Probably not if you're new to charts, but if you are, I'm sure you noticed that right here at basically $1.50 has been a key area of resistance. Several times in the afternoon, the price got up around that area, just could not quite push through. So in my opinion, $1.50 is certainly public enemy number one here headed into Friday. In terms of support levels and what I would call the ideal level, meaning, hey Clay, say, hey, what would make this chart look the absolute prettiest moving forward? That would be if the price could stay there above $1.16. With that said, if the price falls below that level, does not mean the entire chart's destroyed, because from the overarching standpoint, you have that purple line there, that 50 period moving average. So keyword being moving. So as time goes by, that line is going to move itself higher and higher. As long as the price moves above or stays above a line where the line itself is moving higher and higher, well then by definition, the price is building those higher bases. So keep an eye on that level right there, purple line. And like I said, assuming you care about the grand scheme of it all, as long as the price does stay above that purple line, then the bulls are in full control. So overall, things are perfectly, well, depending on perspective, things are not perfectly fine if you're a scalper that bought right there and wanted to buy and sell, within, a few seconds. So, but other than that, yeah, big picture wise, even with the pullback, still plenty of opportunity to build a higher base. Next one here, PLTR, and this will mean a little bit more to those of you that watched the previous video, but if you did, hopefully remember me talking about this red line here as resistance at the 133 mark. And you can see right here, that's where the price got rejected. And then opening 30 minutes here, price came up there, got rejected. And then, yeah, absolutely nasty move this afternoon, which has now brought the price down to levels that haven't been seen for a while. So we got to go check out. In fact, I'm going to go to the hourly time frame. That just means that each one of these candlesticks now represents an hour, just so we can see back here a little bit easier. I can get rid of that. That's an old line. But as far as now new levels of support, next key level to watch very closely is there's this little miniature gap close location at 118.50. And if that level does not quite hold, so if it goes to the gap and says, yeah, we don't care about the gap, next key overarching level of resistance, or excuse me, I'm sorry, support right there at, you can't even see where that's coming from. There we go. It was behind my ugly mug. But right here at 114.75 would be that next key level. So next key levels, 118.50 and 114.75. If this downwards pressure continues, if there is any sort of attempted bounce back upwards, then key level to watch is going to be right here around the former area of support, which would now be considered a level of resistance right there, give or take around 121.50. But yeah, definitely a crazy move here for PLTR. Next one here, SOXL. And overall, yes, there's a pullback, but assuming you care about the bigger picture point of view, so let's actually get that mapped out. Yes, you can't deny that there was a pullback here. But part of caring about the bigger picture is, okay, fair enough, it did pull back today, but how's it been doing the past couple of days? And that person would say, well, the price was there and then worked its way all the way up here. Now, you could pick a different spot to start that area, but the point here is that even with the pullback, it's still very much so in an overall uptrend when you just sit here and consider the price was down there and it's continuing to work its way up. So in this situation, you could call this, I mean, we're looking at basically a 3-day pattern here, a multi-day bull pennant pattern here on SOXL. And it was nice to just get rid of all that, to see it come down. It never hit the purple line exactly, but it got close to that area and did respect it. Does that mean it'll continue to respect it? Nobody knows that, but certainly plausible to think that if the price were to come back down to that area, it could act as a bounce point. But just from a general, kind of gauging standpoint, a good way to gauge the health of the bulls is to see if they continue to stay above that purple line right there. So once again, overall, the chart's fine, but, scalpers that bought right there, yeah, not looking so good for you. Next one, BBAI. Wow, I mean, this was pretty crazy and why you got to manage risk, because yesterday I talked about this one and it had a very, very nice bull flag right here. Now, what was kind about this one was it at least just gapped down below the bull flag. So there was no kind of trickiness. Trickiness would be the price came up here, broke out slightly above, and then did that move. That would be tricky. That would be very nasty. So at least this one was polite enough to just flat out gap down below the pattern and kind of wave like, hey, yeah, it's going to be a rough day today. So that was very polite as opposed to, like I said, having some sort of fake breakout. But yeah, definitely a brutal move here. And like Tesla, remember back to Tesla, that very steep trend line? This has the same exact dynamic. Very, very steep trend line, yet the price is still down below it. Now, to give some credit to the last 30 minutes represented by that green candle there. Good, solid last 30 minutes. But also like Tesla, I personally would not be convinced of anything bullish until the price can, at minimum, get back above that red resistance trend line right there. So, in my opinion, that's a key level to watch. If the price does come down, then a level of support that I'd be kind of curious about is that trend line right there. So we'll see if the price does roll back over. Does this trend line, can I extend this out to anything more? Yeah. Actually, oh. No, you can't even see that. Once again, behind my ugly mug. There we go. But you can see this point and then that point actually did a fantastic job of forecasting that little bounce point right there. So not guaranteed to bounce from there again, but I think, in my opinion, worth at least keeping an eye on. Next one, TSLL. Massive volume today, and this one just got absolutely beat down. It's an ETF that goes with Tesla. So it's going to mimic Tesla, but same general idea on TSLL. Look how nasty that trend line is. And in fact, the last 30 minutes actually came up there because the markets are now officially closed at this point, but got rejected right from that level. So same idea as Tesla. Me personally, I would not have any sort of bullish feelings at all until the price can bare minimum get up above that resistance line right there. And then in terms of areas of support, nothing fancy here. No crazy logic other than just asking, where did the bleeding finally stop today? And the bleeding finally stopped right down there around 885. So for that reason alone is why I would consider that an area of support. But again, no fancy logic. That's just finally where the bleeding stopped. So if the price does come back down there, can it get a double bottom? We'll see what happens with it. But no doubt about it, this one got absolutely hammered today. So that wraps up the top 10 list. Again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more about the tool, then definitely go get signed up for the free live class. It'll be this evening, Thursday, June 5th at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. But like I mentioned earlier, if you can't make it for whatever reason, then go ahead, send me an email to clay@claytrader.com. And I will send you a link to the replay so that you can watch it at your earliest convenience. So hopefully you go get signed up, or if not, at least just drop me an email. Also, if you enjoy these top 10 videos, hit that like button. Make sure you just subscribe and turn on notifications. I have been live streaming. So if you're interested in coming hanging out during the day, watching me trade, then make sure that you turn on notifications and subscribe so that you're notified when I do start the live stream. So just as an FYI there, for those of you that would like to come hang out and see what it's all about live during the day. So thanks for watching. Make sure you get signed up for that free class, and hopefully I'll see you here in just a few hours.